You know, Buck is one of my moderators. Buck Beauty's one of my moderators. Oh, Buck, he's here. It's weird starting the show without Buck in the house. Buck's right here. Buck Beauty and Black Mamba are my moderators. Give it up for them, y'all. Thanks, guys. I should have checked first, huh? I didn't check first, Buck. I just thought if the guy doesn't know if he's going to get airlifted out of his home, he's probably not going to be moderating the Tim Black Show chat room. You know, it's like hierarchy of needs here. You know what I'm saying? Like, be safe and dry, or like moderate the chat. Keep Banana Peel 62 from saying naughty words in the chat room. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. All right, Buck, man. Thank you, brother, for doing what you do, man. Black Mamba, welcome back as well to you. Buck says, I'm watching the water levels. I'm watching the water levels. They are to my porch and almost to my windows of my basement. You know, Buck, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, man. You crazy as hell. Yeah, that's crazy talk. Yeah. Then again, like, what else would you do? I guess you could leave, Buck, you know? Can't stop the water. That's God right there, man. Water is God. You can't stop water. Man, Buck. Tough things going on over there, Buck. Remember you telling me I need to move down in Kentucky. Why, Buck? So I can be stranded like you? Come on, Buck. See how they try to set you up? I'm black, got a black family too. You know the world's gonna hit our house first. Come on, Buck. You know how it works. You know how it works. Oh man. Buck said, man, I'm on an island. Both directions are flooded on the road I live on. Buck's got problems, man. He said, nah, man, I've been through worse than 97. Jesus Christ, man. These are famous last words people give it, you know? We've had worse come through. We will not be moved. We will not be moved. Then we be reading about you, you know? Get out of there, Buck. Buck said, Tim, the roads are flooded. That's why I'm still here. I'm here because I can't go. Man, tough stuff, man. Well, everybody else besides Buck, how y'all doing? Buck's over there looking at the water rise. I'm over here. How y'all doing, man? How's everybody else in the Wolfpack doing? How's it going, Wolfpack? You guys okay? Yeah, man. Things are crazy, man. I can't call it, man. It's just too crazy. We got some stories we want to talk about tonight. Got some stuff we got to get into. I want to say something to the Tim Black Wolfpack that came through, man. Thank y'all for doing what you do. Tobias Grove, Elizabeth Looney, Rude Boy, North Carolina, Cat Negrita, you know? Wagi and Cherie, Disputed, Undisputed. Oh, I didn't see him. I'm used to these certain names. Crom, what's up, brother? You scroll up here, see who's up here. Topher's in the house. Do something. Do something, man. Do something. I love it. Tay Diggs, what's cracking, Tay? Yeah. We getting started, Gail. It's getting started, Gail. It's time to go, Gail. Let's do it. Who is here? Tom, what's up, Tom? What's up, Robert? She cooks. and roasts. You got a cooking channel? She cooks and roasts. Do you have a cooking channel? Papa Dodd in the house. Yeah, man. We got the crew and the queen, man. This is all right, man. Queen Israel. Okay. Bruce Newsom. What is going on, Bruce? Political hood, nickel. The political hood, nickel. My brother. My brother. Degenerate. XR. Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. All right, guys, check this out, man. We're gonna be talking tonight, man. We got some stuff to talk about tonight, man. It's gonna be interesting. Check the title. It's Carmelo Anthony story updates. How the tariffs impact. I spelled impact wrong. It's always fun. How the tariffs impact Black America. We're gonna get into that. We'll get into that because we gotta cover the tariffs a little bit. People gotta know what's going on. I want to serve as a tool for information. So we got to be able to put that on the books and let people know what's going on with that. And we got a couple other clips. We got clips and it's going to be a good time. It's also going to be informative. It's going to be a lot of bold talk, man. Yeah, tonight's show is not for the weak. Yeah, it's not for the weak. I'm telling you right now. Because feelings will be hurt. And it's nothing personal. Well, it is. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. That's a knee-jerk thing to say. Ain't nothing personal. Oh, it's personal. Because it's about persons. It may not be about you. So let's say that it's not directed to any person, any one person. Put it that way. But unless we're talking about animals or plants or things, we're talking about people. Therefore, I believe it's personal. But do not personalize it as if you're the individual being discussed. Folks, there's been some updates in the Carmelo Anthony story. And I hesitated because I was looking at so many negative things people were saying. I was going to put them in the content, But then I thought about it because somebody was like, Tim, don't promote him. Don't promote him. It's not like these people are obscure. When I talk about these horrible conservatives that are propagating, that are spreading racially charged stereotypes and other weaponizing race and doing all this stuff and being straight up bigots for profit. They do this all the time. I got to tell you guys, I'm going to be honest with you. 100% honesty. Let's be full transparent. I'm glad it happened. No, I'm not saying I'm glad that I'm not glad that Carmelo Anthony and they were have to cover the story, but I'm glad people are being exposed because it's only a matter of time. Because what I was seeing too many people jumping on the Trump bandwagon. Yeah, because that's where the money is for. Seeing too much of it. And I always knew, that's why I made a point of it, Buck knows, I've talked to Buck about this, like, Buck, I'm a Democratic Party hater. But I want people to know that I'm not a Trump supporter, and I'm not telling you to go join the Republicans. I'm not doing it. That's not what I'm doing. So that's why I say it so many times. I say, guys, I'm a Democratic Party hater. I'm not telling you to join the Republicans. I'm telling you we need to become independent. We need to use our vote, with the power, respect it, and use it accordingly, and make them have to negotiate with us for it. Don't just give it to somebody. It's like you're not even, asking questions. We're just giving our votes away quick, fast. But this story here with Carmelo Anthony is very It's the reason why. Like this exposes all those conservative black people, man. Now it exposes conservative whites too, but I'm just. We always knew they were going to do what they were going to do, though, right? Yeah, you know, they don't really respect us. They just wanted Trump to win. They're just saying whatever was in the best interest of what their goal was. And once they achieved their goal, they were going to go back to doing what they always do. So it's very important. It's very important to open up your eyes right now and take a look at what you see. When you see these conservatives acting the way they're acting, and the black conservatives, the white conservatives, all the conservatives, the Latino conservatives who are also white conservatives, all of them, just know that's how they always been. You're the one that changed your perception. They've been the same. Man, the things they're saying about this young man is just wow. They're saying things that were never said about Daniel Penny. No, never said about Daniel Penny. They're saying things, wow, that was never said about George Zimmerman. You know, all the other people that, you know, defended themselves and said they defended themselves. Like, the things they're saying, it's just crazy. Anytime you see a black man with hair like that, you already know. They're judging the wide receiver for his actions very harshly. They didn't do all that with Kyle Rittenhouse. They didn't do that with George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman weighed more than Trayvon Martin, was 2 times his age, meaning 2 times his experience, was unarmed, and people somehow made it okay for him to be shot. Yeah, they made it okay. It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't like it was 1920s and, you know, it was 10, 15 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. I got some updates on the story, guys. Let's get into the updates. Now, first of all, the updates I'm about to give you, these updates, they're not sanctioned by any particular authority. Like, I'm unable to make sure that all this is accurate, because how can you do it? There's this young man on the Facebook. His name is Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes put out a post. The post is very illuminating. Looks like he's from somewhere in Louisiana. He also states that he knows Carmelo Anthony. He wants to give some balance to the stories. He's linking to the official Carmelo Anthony GoFundMe. And he cautions anyone who's given to any other GoFundMe, make sure you go into the right one, because there's people trying to steal money. The profile's been around for a while. He has some people that he's following, but there's more people following him, obviously, due to what's going on here. But there's pictures, and there are pictures of this man at various different stages of life, a little younger, a little older. So it appears to be a real profile, is what I'm trying to tell you. I try to do my due diligence. If this would have been a brand new profile with a emoji avatar without pictures, I wouldn't even probably tell you about it. But the fact that it appears to be authentic based on the pictures, based on how long it's been around, these are things that give me that impression, okay? Because there's been some phony stuff, like this phony stuff about the sheriff's office that's been released, to the point where the sheriff's office, the Frisco sheriffs had to come out and say, hey, we didn't make that post. And never before had they seen people go to such length to do disinformation. Because they're like making whole new Facebook pages and they're going all in. There's a lot of money in this. There's a lot of money in people looking at stuff. And look, I've been had a couple times. Not as many as people think. I mean, I've been doing this every day of my life for the last 13 years, and I've been had maybe 5 to 10 times over that amount of time. You do the math, it's not very often it happens. But you got to be careful because it can be happening. So this young man, Kevin Hayes, he put out a description. He put out information about Carmelo, and I want to read it to you, and then we can have a conversation. The truth about Carmelo, let's set the record straight. The truth about Carmelo, enough with the misinformation. Let's talk about facts. It's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Carmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. The claim that one of the twins had never seen Carmelo before is a blatant lie. No student has the right to remove another student from a school-owned tent. The school owns the tent, not the twins. Yeah, this is something that I saw myself that I thought was kind of crazy. It wasn't their personal tent. It belongs to the school. But of course, that's just too logical. Of course, these twins, because they're white males, I guess they speak for the schools. That's sort of like basic point out. Like, I don't know, were you empowered by the school to tell other members of their school? I don't get it. Like, why was it that Austin Metcalf was somehow knighted to speak for the entire school? Why wouldn't he go get an official at a school or some other capacity? And that leads me to my next thing. Carmelo is a track athlete. The twins are not track athletes. This was at a track meet. Carmelo was a track athlete. The twins are not track athletes. He wasn't expecting to see them there, which implies they're a former relationship. They know each other. Now, here's what they don't want you to know. The twins didn't just ask him to leave. They tried to jump him. Both attacking him. They tried to take his belongings. They broke his phone and stomped on it. The twins are known bullies. So ask yourself, if 200-pound plus attackers come at your child, what would you expect them to do? And yet, despite everything, the media is trying to destroy Carmelo's name. They keep posting a picture of him with an airsoft gun, not even a real firearm, to manipulate public perception. Now, once again, guys, remember, this is not, I have no way to verify this. No way to verify it. But folks, I've seen people running with a narrative that they definitely have not verified. They positively, oh man, the things I got these people making up. I will play the videos, but I don't want to offend everybody to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very offensive as shit that they are saying with no foundation. They just take all types of liberties. They paint all types of scenarios. In fact, folks, I'm going to tell you something. This is what I realized. And I've been doing this a while, but I usually do not go look at what conservatives say. But I did today. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Black media got to get a lot better at this. Black media has to get a lot better at calling that nonsense out and taking some liberties of our own, because they're not playing fair at all, man. These people are spinning entire narratives about the black community, about black households, about black kids. We got black people joining in who are conservative, playing right along with it, discrediting, dissing, damning, belittling black people, full stop. It's like horrific what they're doing, the things that they're saying. based in nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the audience doesn't care if it's not based in anything real. So what I'm saying is some of us have a tendency to want to operate in what is known to be factual. But these people that we're up against, and I'm not talking about obscure people. I'm talking about people that work for the Daily Wire, who are of a notable multi-million-dollar company that they work for, just throwing things out. No facts, not rooted in anything substantial, and just saying stuff. Talking about the school Anthony went to without any facts. Well, Mr. Anthony. Talking about his school, talking about possible interactions with other students with no credibility. None. So we got to get a lot better, guys, because we're up against people who are willing to say anything, do anything, mislead the masses. And if it's our job to try to lead people the correct way and provide truth, then we're gonna have to speak against these people. But remember, guys, all that being said, I cannot verify or deny what this man is saying here, Mr. Kevin Hayes. He goes on. He says, he expands further. He says, let's talk about who Carmelo really is. A respectful, well-mannered young man. Goes contrary to everything that they've been saying about him, though they know nothing about his manner. A 4.0 student with multiple college offers. Haven't heard that in mainstream media. A kid with zero criminal history. Not even a blemish. That's not what they've been insinuating. They say he must come from a broken home. No guidance. A son raised in a loving home by parents who told him right from wrong. I wouldn't know that, but it is different than what we've been getting, the narratives we've been getting, once again. Not from fly-by-night outfits. Not from random people with fake avatars that were made last week. I'm talking about, I would say, commentators, content creators, journalists, maybe, I don't know if they are, reporters from outfits like the Daily Wire and others. A life was lost, and that is tragic. Well, what's also tragic is the way the media is twisting this story to fit their own agenda. He says Carmelo defended himself against violent aggressors. That is not a crime. Do not let the media race bait you. Do not let them manipulate the facts. Justice will prevail. Hashtag stand for Carmelo, free Carmelo, stop bullying. Stand your ground. We want justice. Tell the truth. And then it links back to a paper there, a news channel. Not some random trying to make money scheme. So once again, guys, for the record, you can find his Facebook page. His name is Kevin Hayes. And he's speaking up on behalf of Carmelo Anthony to put some balance out there because there hasn't been any. There's been a whole lot of media appearances by Mr. Metcalf. And, what else? I mean, I expect that. I expect the mother. I seen the twin brother. I'm not seeing much from the Carmelo Anthony side of this equation. And that's probably unfortunate, but I also imagine it's probably under, I can only imagine maybe it's under direct counsel. Maybe they should be quiet, not say much. I don't know. But God, I wish there was more was being said about this. Because I'm hearing everything except that he was a respectful, well-mannered young man. I'm hearing totally opposite. And they're not even basing it on anything. So this is it, guys. We have to, it comes a time when you got to fight fire with fire. You have to be willing to punch back just as hard as you're getting punched. But once again, I have not seen anything to contradict. In fact, The father said, Austin's father said, Austin put his hands on Carmelo Anthony. Not the other way around. And it's not against the law to stand under a tent at a game. And it's not against the law to tell somebody to keep their hands off of you. That's not against the law. Some things we need to find out is if the Metcalfs were bullies. They're both, based on what I've been seeing and based on what I've been reading lately, I realize they're both much bigger than Carmelo Anthony, in that they were always together. They were always together. Who was with Carmelo? So he was by himself, and the two twins were right there, right? What am I getting? I'm getting them maybe. Not maybe. I'm getting assertions that they were bullying, that they have been bullies. You know what? It won't take that long for this to start to come out, unless the media narrative doesn't want it to come out. Unless the media doesn't want to tell the truth. Carmelo Anthony's life is in the balance as far as what his future is going to hold for him. You know, this should never have happened. I wish it hadn't happened. But you know what I wish the most? I wish that we could respect one another enough. And I wish that this young man, Austin, would have kept his hands to himself. Keep your hands to yourself. People don't feel threatened. Then they don't pull weapons. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. I got people starting at different places. Oh, well, if Carmelo wasn't there, well, he has a right to be there just like anyone else. They don't have any authority over him to tell him where he has to go and when he has to go there. And there's more seats. Wait, why you have to take the seat he's sitting in? It doesn't make sense. These are grown people. And I guess they're just used to black people taking a subservient role, you know? Like some white guy could just pop up and say, hey, you're sitting in my seat. You need to leave. The natural inclination would be, I don't need to do nothing. I'm good. That would be most of us. I mean, unless you're a police officer, and then maybe you got some authority to say so. It's just crazy how all of a sudden the people that talk about standing up for yourself, defending yourself, and you having the right to do that, constitutional rights, they always switch it up when things don't go their way. All of a sudden, all that's out the window. All of a sudden, it appears that Carmelo Anthony has no station. He can't be a person that's allowed to exist without being touched. He can't be a man that says, look, keep your hands off me. If you hit me, if you touch me, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. I mean, you could take that any way you want to take it. But instead of examining Carmelo Anthony's, mentalities, what I've been seeing him do, they're not examining the mentality of Austin Metcalf. Maybe they don't want to because he's deceased. But just the fact that they're saying he was murdered, when there's no indication that anything here was premeditated, there's no indication that anything here was a planned event, like somebody came there to hurt him. It looks like, based on everything I read, that there was no plan at all. But I haven't seen many people. I have not seen many people put this in a perspective of what was going through Austin Metcalf's mind that he felt he could talk to this young man the way he talked to him, that he could order him about, that he could play cop. I mean, you're not at your house. We're not on your property. What was it in Austin Metcalf's psyche? How was he raised that he thought he could talk to someone he doesn't have any position over, no authority over? Why do you think he could talk to that young man like that? And why when a young man says, hey, put your hands on me again, you're going to find out. Why would he feel like, oh, I'm going to not only put my hands on you again, I'm going to go in your bag, I'm going to grab you up. What was he thinking? And what kind of a father does he have? Now, I seen his dad crying on TV. I get it. You loved your son. How much did you love him? Did you love him enough? Did you love him enough to teach him to keep his hands to himself? Because it don't seem like most people are willing to say this. Oh, but they'll talk for hours and hours. And all these black conservatives will talk for hours and hours about what Carmelo Anthony didn't get from his parents, allegedly. And then they'll say stupid things like, all black people need to learn how to listen to people and interact socially. And all black people need to, and that's just, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at these boot-licking, shoe-shining, pathetic black conservatives. How do you look in the mirror? I mean, I know we all need money in America, but the way you get it matters. They don't have the guts to say that about Metcalfs. They don't have the guts to say that about a blubbering older white man who obviously raised a child who don't listen well, who's hard of hearing. Nah, if a man, any man, you ordering another man to do something when you ain't paid for no seats, who are you? But we got grown-ass men, grown men, co-signing, according to these folks, somebody that didn't even know, ordering him to leave a location that they're not in charge of, didn't pay for, and aren't even on the track team. So all I'm saying is don't make sense. But it does make sense when you consider the fact we got a bunch of shoe-shining, pathetic, no ethics or integrity having folks who treat black people like they have no ability to control their own space, even their own bodies. I mean, folks, this story gets deep. It goes as deep as you want it to go. What was in this young white kid's brain? Who put this in his brain, in his constitution, that the way he's going to deal with this, let's say he's a good kid. What? And he don't mean no bad. He don't mean no harm. All that stuff. Would your kid act that way? Would your kid go up to somebody you don't know who's by himself? It's raining. It's a tent. You're with people. He's by himself once again. Did you raise your child to be the type of child that would go over to that child and tell him he needs to lead a tent? You got to get from over here. That ain't the way I raise my kids. But these are questions I haven't heard the conservatives utter. Nope. They want to play victim. Now, look, according to what I see, Austin Metcalf may be the one who's deceased. Obviously, he's deceased, but he don't seem like much of a victim. If he's going to be the aggressor, if he's going to be the one ordering other people around, if this is a guy who didn't have good hearing. His hearing wasn't so good, and his brother's hearing wasn't so good. And all of a sudden, when the deed was done, when he actually was struck, oh, that's when the brother didn't look. His brother didn't see exactly what happened. I mean, things get a little weird. I mean, you saw everything else except the scuffle, which was initiated by your brother. Now, where I come from, if you scuffling with somebody, you never know what they got. Isn't that the whole reason why Daniel Penny decided he was going to choke the shit out of Jordan Neely? Because he didn't know what he had. And see how backwards the Democrats and Republicans, this little game, see how backwards this whole MAGA thing is with these people? And they're going to be people say, Tim, don't put that on MAGA. I've been seeing people online that voted MAGA making these assertions. Now, they defend Daniel Penny choking out Jordan Neely because they say they didn't know what he had. Who knows what he had? Who knows what he was going to do? He said things. He said, I need some food. I need some water. Somebody give me some food. Somebody get some food or something to eat. A mentally ill person said that. And the solution to that was Daniel Penny putting his hands on somebody he didn't know, that he never interacted with, but he felt he had authority over him. And then he said he did it because he thought he was endangering everybody on the train. Well, now they find a way to make this okay where Austin Metcalf actually puts his hands on people, actually is the aggressor, actually was warned not to. I mean, that's better than Daniel Penny did. Daniel Penny didn't tell Jordan Neely, hey, if you don't be quiet, I'm going to choke you out. You need to sit down. You need to calm down. People are afraid of you. You need to stop. Calm down. I'm a Marine, and I can jack you up in here. You need to calm down. Daniel Penny gave no such warnings. His body was a weapon. Goofies, his body was a weapon. He's a trained killer. Daniel Penny is trained in self-defense against a guy who played Michael Jackson. And you still didn't have a problem with it. You blamed him for his own death, but you won't blame Austin Metcalf? Am I following the goofy logic? The reason why I'm not following is because I'm not a bigot. Because I'm leaving out the fact that there's a rule in America, contrary to what the people at the Daily Caller will admit. And that rule is, I'm white and I said so. Yeah, that's the rule. I'm white and I said so. Well, why should I have to lead a tent? I'm white and I said so. That's why, black person. And I wonder if the conversation was even that friendly. You know, no one's repeating the exact words that were probably said. I'm just imagining. I have a feeling. I wasn't there. No one spoke to the exact language, but I got a feeling that Austin and his twin brother weren't like, excuse me, young man. Excuse me, nice black person who we don't know, allegedly. Could you please leave our tent because it's not your tent, and we would feel uncomfortable. Could you please? I got a feeling that's not how it was spoken. But once again, see, when I'm bringing up Daniel Penny and I'm putting the shoe on the other foot, they're gonna make reasons for why all of a sudden Carmelo Anthony has no reason or he has no right to defend himself. I don't know. Maybe he thought that it was possible Austin had a weapon on him. I don't know. It is Texas, right? Is it possible he could have thought Austin or his brother had a weapon? I mean, he did run. Why did he run away? I don't know. Maybe he ran away because he was afraid. I mean, there's some things here. But these people are not asking any of those questions. They see a black kid. They see what happened. Austin Metcalf tragically loses his life. And that's all they care to know. They don't care to know, hey, how did this unfold? All Austin had to do is shut up and mind his business or listen and walk away. That's all he had to do. No one pursued him. No one followed him like Zimmerman followed Trayvon Martin. None of those things happened. So I'm seeing not just double standards, I'm seeing triple standards over this joint. And I'm also seeing a long line of disgusting, pathetic black conservatives. And some of them I knew, like, you know, I don't want to name people because people like, Tim, don't give them no shine, don't talk about them. There's some horrible people out here, y'all. I want to thank this situation for coming to light. I want to thank those people who have come out and spoken out, who've spoken up on behalf of Carmelo Anthony. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't even know if there are going to be other details that come out that contradict things, that change the reality or what's possible. right? We don't know that. And I'm open to that happening. Because at the end, all I want is justice. That's it. But I'm seeing one side of this equation not be reasonable at all. Yeah, man. You should raise your children that if someone asks them to leave them alone, they do. And someone says, do not put your hands on me, they listen. That's kind of basic. For some reason, and I get it. Once again, guys, I get it, man. Dad is grieving, mom is grieving. But how well was your child raised if your child don't hear so good? That when somebody says, keep your hands to yourself, you know, comprende. To me, that signals we got a young man who has an arrogance with him. Not only does he think he's invincible, he doesn't think he has to listen to certain people. Now, I don't know if he doesn't listen to the cops or if he doesn't listen to authority figures, but it damn sure looks like he doesn't listen to this black young man, Pierce, because he could have, and none of this happens. None of this happens. None of this happens. But once again, I am glad that this is coming out. It's unfortunate it has to come out in this way. But it's good for us to see. Black America is good for us to see because we got the horrible Democratic Party doing what it does. And we got a lot of black people that are waking up to it. But I need black people to look across and see those Republicans, see those conservative Republicans that are what they're saying about you right now. Because they're saying it about Carmelo Anthony, but they don't know him. All they see is blackness. That's all they see. Of Carmelo Anthony, his name was Cody. If his name was Cody Davis, Cody Bartholomew, Cody McConaughey, and he was blonde-haired and blue-eyed, and he had told this football player to not touch him and to get his hands off of him, it wouldn't be a whole lot of talk about how evil he is and how unraised, untrained he is and how he's a menace because he struck back at a bigger guy who wouldn't keep his damn hands to himself. It'd be a whole different story, wouldn't it? But instead, we have these phony, fake jackasses on the conservative side. Damn, I want to say his name. Damn, I want to put the video out, but I don't want to give him no shine. Condemning black America. And I got sellout, bootlicking black people with all this type of advice of what black people need to do better. They are cowards. They're afraid to say what white Americans need to do better, like raise their kids to keep their damn hands to themselves, raise their kids to do a lot of things better. You don't own everything in the country just because you're white. You don't own us. You don't own that young man. You're not the authority here. You're just another human being. There's things that could be said to them. But see, these cowardly conservatives won't say it. These black cowardly conservatives won't tell the other white conservatives the truth. But instead, they'll look at the black kid and have all this advice on what black America need to do. Oh, you should hear them, guys. You should hear the nonstop advice that the Charleston White Brigade is giving. Oh, they got so much to say. And so people should listen to him. A killer, a co-conspirating killer, and a jackass, and a clown playing a role on the internet. That's who we got to listen to for advice. That's what we're doing. An admitted clown. Pretending to be something. Is that how bad it is? We let people like Charleston White dictate to us what black people need to do, what black people, how we need to act. Anyway, back to this. Look, guys, I got to issue our disclaimer. I got to issue it. I got to say, I wish this didn't happen because I authentically wish it hadn't happened. But I try to take everything that happens in my life and see what good can come out of it. And one of the good things that could come out of it is Black Americans. Don't go running over there to those Republicans. Listen to them. Look at what's coming out of their mouths. Look at what they're saying. They could be saying that about your son, your daughter, you, your wife. Look at them. Listen to them. They know nothing about him. Listen to the way they're talking. So pause. And this is one of the reasons why I did not want Trump to stop promising Black people a whole bunch of stuff. Because I don't want us brought into the Republican Party with words. And once again, what we have right now, we have actual actions. The actions. Forget the words, oh, we all should work together. Yeah, when they're feeling good. But soon as somebody says, he looked at me, he tried to talk to me. All of a sudden, our buddies, our friendly white friends become something else, don't they? I mean, it's a track record. This is a track record of this. They start quoting statistics of Black people being incarcerated or being picked up for crimes. Not convicted, just start quoting statistics of Black men being, well, look at Black men, they go to jail, they commit the crimes. No, they get arrested for crimes. Because they don't arrest you, goofy. They start quoting easily debunked statistics. All you proved is that America over-polices Black people. That's all you proved. Who's also the most incarcerated, but who's also the most overturned? Whose cases are mostly overturned? Who's the most pardoned? Who's the most released with DNA evidence later? Us. Did you put that in your FBI notes? But see, we got a bunch of liars, gaslighters, and bigots posing as if they mean well. And now that they got their guy in, they don't need you no more, Black people. So go on, Blackie. That's how they going. Go on, Blackie. We got what we wanted. We got Trump in now. We don't care, Blackie. Election time's over, Blackie. We go back to being who we are. And their dumb conservative Black friends that are sitting there stupid looking didn't get the memo. Now they want us who are independent, because that's what I am, an independent. They want us not to believe our lying eyes. They want us to not be able to hear so good. They're going to ignore it. You know what? I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to ignore the Daily Wire scumbags. I'm not going to ignore the Steven Crowder lying-ass, bigoted, dog whistle blowing. I'm not going to ignore that. I'm not going to ignore Alex Jones, InfoWars, sidekick boy, up there with that, whatever he is, Myron, whatever that guy's name is, saying those horrible things about Black people. I'm not going to ignore it. So it is what it is, guys. We got a post by Kevin Haynes. The update is that he paints in he gives us some background, some much needed background about Carmelo Anthony. I have no way to verify if it's true. But as of now, they have no way to verify it isn't. And up to this point, all we've got is the story from the father of the slain and the mother of the slain and his twin brother. And I'm not altogether sure how reliable that is, because only one of them was there, and I think all three would lie to suit their case. And for the record, you can't talk about being such a Christian, which is what Father Metcalf has been doing, and then also be talking about the death penalty in the same token. I mean, at least not in my book. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. It's a tragedy. It really is. It's a tragedy that Anthony Metcalf that his hearing aid fell out his ear at the wrong time. I wish better for Carmelo Anthony. I don't know him, but I wish that he was not in this situation and it was not worth it. I would like to say that, but I don't know what his mindset was. It was obvious that he wanted to get away, which is why he ran away. All I can do is go by his actions of leaving. All right, guys. Let's keep it moving. I actually have other things on the itinerary. You guys let me know what you think. I tell you, man. Tough night. Tough night. Already. Someone says self-defense. It's tough, man. Majestics, there's a lot going on. Yeah. Well, that's not what they're saying, Jay Daniels. That's not what's being said. Yeah, I read that too, you know. Yeah, that's what I reported on last week. I read the New York Post that Anthony was a 4.0 student, no criminal record, and working 2 jobs. But that's not the scenario, and that's not the narrative that the conservatives that I've been hey, look, guys, let me say. Thank you, Anita Parker. Let me say this. I'm never talking about everybody. Of course, there are going to be people that surprise me. In fact, last show I was saying these conservative blacks, and I'm going at the conservative black folks like conservative perspective, who is always a cornball and a sellout, pathetic, anti-black bias weirdo. And and when I look at them outside of what they do, when I get an opportunity to see them, you know what I'm saying? I can kind of tell what kind of black people we're talking about. When I look at like C.J. Pearson, I get an idea. Outcasts, there's certain black conservatives who have never been able to really move about the black community. Not with any type of comfort. You know what I'm saying? They never were able to, like, you could just tell they're awkward around black Americans. But I would admit, like someone said, tell man, you'd be surprised. Because I thought the Hodge twins would do their usual thing. And apparently, according to reports, they're not looking at this very cut and dry. So I can't say I know the Hodge twins are Mexican, right? Aren't they Mexican? No. I can't say that every black conservative or I think Hodge are black Mexicans. I don't know, man. The point is, I cannot say that every black conservative is agreeing with this or that this applies to them. I don't want to go so far and start naming a bunch of names because why should I promote them on this platform? But I will say, it's bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's bad what I've been seeing. These people have developed complete scenarios. They know everything about Carmelo Anthony's schooling. They're imagining how he is with friends. They imagine his track listing, his shoe size, with what kind of ice cream he like. I mean, these people have created, it's like, I think it was Baldwin. Baldwin said, did he say the worst place to live is in the imagination of the white people? Is that it? Was that it? That's the worst place to live. Who knows that quote? It's a great quote. The most dangerous place to live is in the imagination. Right? Isn't it something like that? And you should listen to the imagination that they have. I have not seen such imaginations about Austin Metcalf. From anybody. From anyone. Not from his supporters. And not from those that support Carmelo. And what I'm doing is I am going there. I'm going there because no one else is. And what I'm saying, and I'm using based on the information. What kind of how was a young man raised where it's raining, and instead of saying, hey, it's raining, he ain't bothering anybody. Why do you feel like he has to leave now and leave. And when he says, I'm not going to get off me, leave me alone, why wasn't that enough? So I'm questioning how he was raised. Is there a rule we can't talk back to the black, to the whites? Because we talk back to each other all the time. Is there a rule? So what it is, we got a lot of cowards who are unwilling to go up against the grieving father and say, hold on a second, how'd you raise your son? Because he's saying this, that's what he's saying about Carmelo Anthony's parents. I seen him say it, it's in video. How was he raised and he did this to my son, he murdered my son? Well, how was your son raised that he couldn't hear so well? See, no one's willing to say this type of shit, you know? But if it was black on black, we'd be saying it. And what I'm saying is some of us are timid. We're too damn timid when it comes to talking to the white folks. It's 2025. If you ain't got a pair of balls when you can't talk to that guy and say, hold on a second, you're questioning his parents, let's question you. Because his parents weren't there. You weren't there. But based on some actions, you got some explaining to do. Because if your sons, why didn't the other son grab the other son and say, come on, man, it ain't worth it, leave him alone? See, there's all types of scenarios that are not being considered. And it takes somebody like Tim Black to say it, because it's been very quiet on the Western Front, sir. It's been very quiet on the Western Front. So let me at these cornball conservatives, the black conservative perspective, and the C.J. Pearsons, and I just name dropped a couple of them. The Officer Tatums, let me at them. The Candace Owens, let me at them. Because I want to ask those types of basic questions. See, what they're going to do is they're going to, all of black people, all of black America, look how we are. Look how the blacks are. Look how the whites are. Look at them. So we can do this all day. And then we can stop gaslighting each other and get back to the point, which is what happened between these two young men. Once we get tired of, of creating narratives about race, we can get back to the point at hand. And we can say, hold on. I'm asking you very concrete questions. To Candace Owens, to Officer Tatum, to all the rest. Why didn't the twin brother tell the other brother, hey man, it ain't worth it, let's walk off? Why are we not even running? We not even competing. We ain't on a track team. Why are we even over here? Why are you arguing with him about sitting there? Just all these bleachers. Why are we going to fight over a seat we didn't pay for? There's no assigned seating. And I'm not hearing that, so that bothers me. It has me feeling a, kind of certain kind of way about the sincerity and the ethics and integrity of the people that have been doing commentary on this, who have been critical of Carmelo Anthony, why they did not consider these things. Because, I wasn't there, but why am I able to ask questions that I'm not hearing others ask? Just basic questions. Yep, basic questions. That's right. That says if your son was Christian, as you claim he was, he would have moved over and said, sit here, man, we got you. But no, he greeted him with violence and hate. That got him killed in bullying. And you can kind of see, I look at the eyes of the father, and I know he's grieving. And I know viscerally, fundamentally, reality, tangibly, how that feels. But I see a deep anger behind his eyes. I don't see it the same way I'm seeing others categorize it. They see it as vulnerable and emotional, but I see something else brewing behind the eyes. I see something else brewing behind the father's eyes. And I love the opportunity to talk about it. What's her name? What's the one with the channel that Laura Ingram? Yeah, I see something burning behind the father's eyes, Laura Ingram. Besides tears, behind the tears, I see an anger and an outrage behind his eyes. And I wonder if his kids possess that same anger and outrage. You know, the mother said something. The mother dropped breadcrumbs. I'm sorry to keep going, guys. I do have other content. Something the mother said about the son, the reason why the son wanted to go over and talk to Anthony, Carmelo Anthony. She said, my son was always the first to step up. To step up and do what, ma'am? You mean step up and tell the ninja to get away from us? Is that it? Because that's all he was doing, was sitting down under the tent, under the rain. Yeah, my son was always, that's how he was. He was always the first to step up. Yeah, step up and get violent, right? Step up and be violent, maybe? See, this is me being deductive. Respectfully. These are the things I was thinking that I didn't say last time we did a live stream. But after days of me seeing the unchecked masses of conservatives, both white and black, omit the obvious pushback and put two and two together. I mean, come on. So I had to go there, Johnson. Now, had it been Carmelo who was stabbed to Austin who was under the tent, the same people saying Carmelo's guilty would say Carmelo shouldn't have approached Austin and he defended himself. You're damn right they would say that. And that's why I can't stand. Now you got it. Exactly, to Tashi D. Because I know damn well the black conservatives, the ones that are calling Carmelo Anthony all these names and saying how black culture needs to take a look at itself and we never hold ourselves accountable. I know damn well if it had been reversed, that they would be saying that they would exactly be defending. They would be defending Austin and saying, why did this person put their hands on Austin? Maybe he felt afraid. See, we start getting into very obvious terrain here, guys. It's very obvious terrain. We know what this is. They get to be afraid of us and act erratically and take our lives. The history of America is white people who always say they're afraid of black people and killing them. You know, it used to happen so much, even when we were property. Even when black people were enslaved. They had to come up with a new law on the books for white women because white women accidentally kept killing their slaves. Accidentally, while they were correcting them. And now that we're free, some people didn't get the memo. So I'm worried about Carmelo Anthony's safety. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about where he's being kept. But you know what I'm not hearing? I'm not hearing the various commentators from MSNBC, the Lathan, Van Lathan, and I heard him today talking emotionally about deportees, which is a horrible thing, man. You deported, seems like America may have deported a American citizen, not a citizen, but someone who was legally in the country, who was not a gang member, to El Salvador. And that's a horrible thing. And he's wondering about the safety of that, person who was wrongly deported. And I understand it, but I feel and I agree that that's something that should be rectified as soon as possible. And there should possibly be a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit. But these are things I've already said. If you deport the wrong person, they get to sue your ass. I already said that, right? But it needs to be repeated because not everybody sees every show. So for the record, I said that if you deport people who should not be deported, then they get to sue. Shouldn't they? Okay. We sue people all the time in this country for much less. But see, Van Lathan and the others who are very upset about that are not very concerned about Carmelo Anthony there in Texas and his safety and what's going on with him right now around some good old boys. I'm not hearing anyone talk about it. So I want to talk about it. What good is being an OG if you don't use any of your OG status to stand up for people that may not have a voice? So yeah, back to Tashi's comment. If it would have been the other way around, and a black kid was killed after the white kid asked him numerous times not to touch him, to keep his hands off of him, and if that white kid stabbed that black kid and ran one time, not 20 times, not 50 times and threw up gang signs, but hit him once, stabbed him one time and ran, all the black conservatives that would be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have, why did he attack him? Why did he attack him? He shouldn't have attacked him. He scared him. And I know what it's like to be afraid. I'm afraid when I'm around black people too. I'm so afraid around black people. This is what they're saying. Black people are saying, I'm afraid around black people. No, you're afraid around poor people, dummy. If you ain't afraid around poor white people, that's because you don't be around any of them. You just only been around poor black people. If you ever been around poor white people, you'd be just afraid or you're stupid. They'll bury you out behind the barn, dummy. But see, we got black people who never been anywhere. I know white people that won't go certain places in white areas because they're scared to go there their damn selves. And we got dumb black people who never been anywhere. I'm talking about the Cartier family, for instance. And it's okay to be young and dumb. It's just unfortunate you have a mic and a platform and you're talking to people who also don't know anything or they wouldn't be co-signing what you're saying. I know white men who have their own businesses, so they have to deliver things. And there are areas where they don't like going that's white because they're the type of white guys that talk like me. Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? And where they're going is white guys that talk like, oh, what's going on? Hey, what the hell you doing around here? See, not all white people are the same, Goofy. But see, we have a problem. We have a problem. We got black people that get their idea of what white people are off television. And they don't watch all the shows. They just see them all. It's Captain Avenger. You know what I'm saying? They see them all as Doogie Howser. And whenever there is an asshole white person, it's like Eddie Pascal from Leave It to Beaver. You know, annoying, but not a bad guy. Just annoying, kind of snarky. They don't realize that there are all kinds of white people. White people know there's all kinds of white people. But it's like these conservative black people only know one kind of white person in one kind of black person. Now, you haven't been anywhere. You never been around the pretentious black people? They wouldn't lay hands on you, do nothing to you, wouldn't want to be around you because they got their life, they lived a different life. So what I'm saying is we got a lot of problems in this country. It's class and race, and I'm seeing all that being played out right here in this story, Johnson. It's right here. And it's not, I'm not here to condemn all of white America or all of black America. But what I'm seeing is a petri dish of a lot of animosity, hate, bias. It's just bad information. Why would you choose, young black man, why would you choose to talk about your personal experience somewhere you went where you were afraid of some black people that didn't know you? To talk about that now amongst this, as it pertains to this story, as if that has anything to do with anything. As if there can't be a white person who doesn't remember a time some other white guys tried to beat his ass. I mean, but see, this is how they think. They think they're being thoughtful. Yeah, yeah, man, I know what it's like being around black people because I was afraid. I was somewhere and I saw black people and they tried to beat me up. They wanted to beat me up. I could tell. As if there's never been a white person in America that's went somewhere and somebody white didn't want to beat their ass when they saw them. Just dumb things are being said right now. And it's infuriating. It really is. Folks, it's bad on these internet streets. It really is. Tito Hornbuckle says, story from 2020. Black American young man found dead, shot in back of head, close range. Mother got a text for $7,000 ransom and got a post sent to her with his face exposed, dead under sheets and quilts. The police officer's son and friends questioned, but cleared. Damn. Tito, man, it's a horrible story, brother. I hadn't heard that story. I believe that story. Folks, all types of things happen in this country every day. What I learned, one of the most fundamental things I've learned in the media business is that so much of what happens never gets reported, and so much of what's reported is never amplified. The sheer number of people, the sheer number of interactions, of stories that occur every day, there is no way. It's almost like there's a narrative being spun just based on what you get to see and hear about, because there's just so much that we don't hear about. In fact, there's so many great things that happen every day that aren't talked about, because if it bleeds, it leads. There's a story that happened today where a white guy saved a black guy's life, and a black guy saves a white guy's life, and an Asian man saves 2 young black kids, and 2 black kids save an Asian woman. Like, all these things happen every day. You don't realize how big this country is. You don't realize how big your state is. It's just amazing. And it's the opposite. All types of bad things happen. How will we ever know the number of things that are done? So everything's with a grain of salt, no matter what you cover. And if you start going down that rabbit hole, I lose all equilibrium. I lose all balance, because I know at some point you just got to go say, okay, I'm going to go with this. Because it's so hard, folks, because there's so many stories we don't get told. So much. So all we can try to do is be the best people we can be. But all I'm doing is asking questions. And I'm developing a narrative myself surrounding what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, and what we know so far. And I'm asking basic questions that I'm not hearing, that I have not been hearing these people ask. Yeah. The media uses cases like this to race bait into incite anger and hate. And it's really good for money. And it's not just, look, here's the thing, B1 first. Look, it's not just because they hit everybody. It is a very, so it could be, but it's also so lucrative. It's so lucrative. It's like the Lakers playing the Celtics every day. It's like the Lakers versus Celtics every day, and they just can keep it going. It's like the release of a new Avengers movie, a Marvel Universe movie that could come out every month. in a for-profit industry, which is our news industry. All right, I'm tripping. I'm going. It is what it is. Let me try to move on, right? Thank you, Black Mamba. Guys, put your comments up. I'll read them later. God, what time is it? Well, almost 2 o'clock. I mean, almost 2 hours. I wanted to get to something else. Can we get to something else? Can we get to something else? Yep. Yeah, hopefully truth and justice can prevail, my brother. Yeah, let's move on, guys. I can say this will be the last of tragic stories for the night. We have no more tragedy to discuss here. Okay, so let's
proposal.
All right, so I'm about to go to Bernie Sanders, man. That's gonna be my first clip.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Open borders.
Open borders.
That's a Koch brothers proposal. The
Really?
idea, of course, I mean, that's a right-wing proposal which says essentially there is no United States.
But it would make a lot
me.
of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state. And I don't think there's any country in the world which believes in that. If you believe in a nation state or in a country called
Damn it. I've been having this problem lately. And I don't know why it's been doing it.
What do you think? Maybe we should try to get jobs for those kids. So I think from a moral responsibility, we've got to work with the rest of the industrialized world to address the problems of international poverty. But you don't do that by making people in this country even poorer.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Mr. President, so taking America into a recession, is it worth it? And do Americans need to back that up?
The fake news, of which many of you are members, is trying to convince the public to have a recession. Let's have a recession. The United States is doing phenomenally well. But one thing I have to do is economically take on China, because China has been ripping us off for many years. President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama and others should have done this long before me. My life would be much easier, although I enjoy doing it, but my life would be much easier if I just said, let China continue to rip off the United States, all right? It'd be much easier, but I can't do that. We are winning against China. They've lost 2.5 million jobs in a very short period of time. They want to make a deal. It's got to be a deal that's good for the United States. When they want to make a deal, probably we will make a deal. But if I didn't do that, and I'm not doing this, somebody said it's Trump's trade war. This isn't my trade war. This is a trade war that should have taken place a long time ago by a lot of other presidents. Over the last 5 or 6 years, China's made $500 billion. $500 billion. Ripped it out of the United States.
Wow. Wait. 500 billion?
And see, this is what I was this is what I've been looking into, right? I don't know what's going on with this thing. And I want to explain a little bit about the tariffs, because people hear it and they don't know what's going on with it when they hear the tariffs. And what I'm saying is the corporate media is not telling us stuff that's very important, guys. And I know it seems like, why do I need to know this? When I hear this term reciprocal tariffs, I listen to the reciprocal part. And it's like when I'm hearing these corporate media people talk, it's like they don't know what reciprocal means. Trump initiated reciprocal tariffs. Folks, reciprocal means they've already got a tariff on us. Hello? Reciprocal means it's a tariff in response to other tariffs that have already been placed on us. So yeah, this is something I think is important. Now this is what this is it. It says, Trump's reciprocal tariffs are designed to match the tariff rates that other countries impose on American goods. The basic idea is that if another country charges a 20% tariff on American products entering their market, the U.S. would then impose a 20% tariff on that country's products coming into the U.S. Folks, why are people explaining it this way? The Trump administration calculated reciprocal tariffs based on what they consider is the effective tariff rate that other countries are charging on American goods. Sometimes they don't have a total tariff. Sometimes they have that, plus they have other expenses that are put together. And that's how we've come up with the tariff rate. In the case of China, the 34% reciprocal tariff that Trump imposed represent what has his administrative calculated as the effective tariff rate China places on U.S. goods. So get this, guys. This is what I'm saying. When I hear people talk about tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, it seems like they intentionally don't want us to understand that our goods are already being tariffed by those other countries. So listen, guys, American manufacturers, there's only a couple things we send out of the country that are able to be purchased by other countries. Entertainment, movies, music. We like entertain the globe, okay? These are a couple things. And you know this because you'll see hip-hop everywhere, right? We see hip-hop all across the globe. You know what you won't see all across the globe? Chevys, Fords, okay? You don't see American goods all across the globe. If you go to other countries, you don't see American-made stuff. But you come to America, you see Toyotas, you see Hyundais, you see Samsung, okay? So these are the types of thinking I'm saying. And what Trump said here, people are discounting it. They're dismissing everything Trump says because it's Trump. It's almost like it's automatic because it's Trump saying it. How can it be trusted? How can it be true? Every president has been trying to get this. They talk about doing something about it, and then they don't. They talk about doing something about the imbalance of the markets. It's like all we do in America is buy stuff. That's it. Everybody wants to sell to us. But we should be making money off allowing them to sell to us because they make money off of us being able to sell to them. The reason why they don't buy American goods in other countries is because it's got such a high markup. They know what's going to buy it because it's overpriced compared to what's available there. We don't do that to their goods when it comes over here. And that's really good for those other countries because they can make a lot of money off of America. Trump's not making that up. The problem is those countries, are they going to want to allow things to be more balanced? And they've had it so good so long since World War II. Since World War II, they've had this imbalance that's been to their benefit. And are they going to now wake up and say, okay, is it worth it to them to continue to make money off of America while allowing America to make some money off of them? Get it?
Trump has chosen not to apply those tariffs to Russia, Cuba, China, and North Korea, Belarus, not China, Belarus and North Korea.
Russia.
And I was wondering.
And Russia.
And Russia, yes.
Well, ostensibly, we don't. I'm not saying that we don't have leakage through third parties, but we have trade sanctions on those countries. So there's no point in. I mean, we're not trading with them because they're under the Biden administration. Once they invaded, we leveled trade sanctions against. And Trump has said that he would even go beyond that and put sanctions on anybody who does trade with Russia, i.e. buys their oil. Then they would have sanctions put upon them by us. So it would be redundant. In North Korea, we don't let things from North Korea come in. And of course, the left says this is Putin's puppet. He's not putting things on Russia. He's putting things on Great Britain because Russia is already sanctioned. And Trump, to get them back into the negotiations, he's going to sanction them even harder. He's doing things that nobody on the left ever thought.
Yeah, that's something else I heard people saying. So, like, this is just, I'm just trying to straighten things out so people understand what's going on. It's very bogus what they're saying about Trump and Putin. I mean, there used to be $300 billion, is what I estimate. $300 billion coming, that Russia was Russian trade, $300 billion or something. And that was three. And just because they didn't have Russia in the list of countries that are now being tariffed, we got people saying Trump being nice to Russia when it went from 300 billion to 3%. Meanwhile, Canada was at like 400 billion. And that's why we sanctioned, that's why we put the tariffs on them, because we're trading with them. They've been benefiting big time from us. I'm not saying there's no benefit to America that we trade with Canada, but this like the apples to oranges comparison here when it comes to this stuff. It's just astronomical. And it's like, when I've been doing the research on this, I realized that no other president wanted to go there because they knew that America would be ticked because the process is going to be painful to get out of this bad position. And no president wanted to deal with the fallback or the blowback from wherever this process is. But they were hoping to negotiate with these countries to get us to a place where we have less of a one-sided agreement. It's a very one-sided agreement, and it effectively made America nothing more than a bunch of consumers when it comes to doing business outside of the country. We just buy everybody else's stuff. So take that for what it's worth. And that's my primer on tariffs. Would a tariff situation be good or bad for us? Look, guys, I'm gonna be real. Based on what I've been reading, a lot of America, for Black America, the tariff situation, will it be good or will it be bad? How will it impact Black America? That's what I wanted to look into. So that's where I started. When I started the research for tonight's show regarding tariffs, I wanted to answer that question. It doesn't mean that Black America lives in this totally different America. All of America, how will it be for all America? But I wanted to be specific. So a lot of the anger and a lot of people going crazy right now is because they rely on the Wall Street. They rely on Wall Street. Most Americans don't trade on Wall Street. So volatility in the market is where the market starts correcting and correcting based on the changes in what it's forecasting, which can make stocks go up and down, Well, the average American doesn't have stocks. Hell, the average American doesn't have a retirement program. 60% of Americans have no retirement accounts, IRAs, let alone money in the stock market that they're trading every day. So a lot of the arts, a lot of the news that you're seeing, a lot of the reports on MSNBC and CNN and ABC and CBS, for instance, and Fox News, Fox Business News particularly, are not really conversations that pertain to us. And I'm just keeping it honest and real here. So when you tune it out, I guess I understand why. But I want you to understand further than that. So let me say this. I'm not saying that the tariffs are good. I'm saying that the goals that they have for the tariffs are not based in destroying the country. You hear Looney Tunes things, loony ideas, like Trump is trying to destroy America, like he's trying to bankrupt America and give America to Elon. Very kooky ideas, not based in any reality. That they have no way to prove. And they're not even being questioned or forced to prove crazy statements, crazy narratives they just pull out of thin air that are not rooted in anything factual. I'm not saying that these tariffs will be successful, but I see it as Trump saying, hey, I'm going to tariff you equal. So let's say, for instance, China, let's say right now, China has a 36-point advantage on us because our goods receive a 36% effective tariff when we try to sell to China. And we say we're going to have a reciprocal tariff. That means we're going to start tariffing your goods at the same rate as what you tariff ours. And they go, no. Then we'll say, well, let's negotiate because it only makes sense. And anything we get out of it will help us because we're down 36%. If Trump can get it to 20 instead of 30, I don't know. I don't think his goal is that, but I'm saying any movement would be better than 36. Obama didn't get it down. Bush didn't get it down. You understand what I'm saying? Biden didn't get it down. And Trump's trying to get it down. He's trying to reduce the lopsided relationship that we have with these countries. How great is Britain if they're taking advantage of us? I mean, how great is a friend if the friend's got their hand in your pocket the whole damn time? You got friends like this. Really, though. How good of a friend is Mexico and Canada if their hands in our pocket the whole damn time? And meanwhile, we're running around being the only reason why other people aren't knocking them off. I mean, we're also your police force. And we're also defending all of you from being attacked from other countries. We're basically your military. We're your strong arm backup. America's not extorting these countries. Get what I'm saying? So I'm looking at a lopsided relationship. I mean, America's basically, and we've all had this, we're a designated driver. And if we're a designated driver, the least you can do is pay for the gas. But nah, we're picking everybody up. We're gassing up our car. We're picking them up in our car. We're driving everybody to the club to have fun. We're dropping them off. Then we got to drive all the way home by ourselves. And we got to regas up our own car to get to work on Monday. And how does that make sense? And what all we're saying is that we're going to keep going out together. We're not saying we don't want to go out. We're not saying no more nights out, fellas. We're saying, hey, chip in on gas. Maybe we should split the gas. And we got Democrats going, how dare he say that? They're not going to want to go out with us anymore. Or we might have to go out with ourselves, i.e., buy our own products. I.e., maybe we'll club at home. That's how simple this can be seen, because that's what it is, a lopsided situation that has been normalized over the years. Some of you who are old, if you're old as dirt like me, you remember a time when you didn't turn over everything and it said China on the bottom. We were kids. I was a kid. I didn't know what it meant. But once upon a time, folks, when you turned over your lamp or when you turned over anything, you didn't see Taiwan and China on the bottom of it. It used to say made in America. Or maybe it didn't say that because it was. It just was the default. You get what I'm saying? Some of the hand-wringing and the people going crazy, it's about Wall Street and it's about keeping things the same way it's been. Because they benefit the way it is. They don't care if manufacturing jobs are here or not. They don't care if we have plants here that we increase the number of plants. Therefore, American workers, you can't outsource American labor within the country. You can't outsource that. Can't do it on Zoom. There are things that can't be done on Zoom from Nairobi or some shit. Okay? But these people that are complaining, they represent corporations who make more money, who like things the way they are and making lots of money the way things are. But how well is that going for, Illinois? How's it really working out for Michigan? How is it working out for West Virginia? I can tell you, badly. Badly. And those corporations made a whole lot of money. But they want to demonize you. Well, they want to demonize Trump. And they want us to see him as evil. But you know what, folks? When I saw the United Auto Workers Union president come out, who was just with Biden, now say, hey, we love what Trump's doing here. No other president had the guts to do this. This is going to help us. When I saw him say that, when I saw he had to put his ego in check, and he said it himself, because he said at the end of the day, it's not about an administration. It's about what's better for the American worker. When I saw him say that, it made me look at all. It gave me confidence to come out and do this segment, because I don't want to give you bad information. I can't stand the Democratic Party. I tell you all the time, I'm a Democratic Party hater, but I would not come out here and tell you that we need to not feel so doom and gloom about what's happening and not ride the narrative that Trump's doing this to destroy the country, the only country he lives in. That's crazy talk. I don't know if Trump's going to be successful. No one can tell you he's going to be successful, but I can tell you that those workers sure want him to be. That I can tell you. And they're not making it up. They're not pretending in all those boarded up factories that's not a mirage. In all these towns in the Midwest that used to be rustling and bustling with activity, that those are not figments of your imagination, that they are closed now. So, the benefit of the doubt. President Trump's new tariffs are shaking up the U.S. economy, promising to protect American jobs while raising the cost of everyday goods. But what does this mean for Black Americans? We already got tight budgets. We already have our own concerns about the economy. And now here comes this. Rising costs. Trump's tariffs, like the 25% tax on imports from Canada and Mexico, and a 10% hike on Chinese goods, could drive up prices on essentials. It's true, it could drive up prices, at least momentarily. So we are going to see things potentially go up. I don't know how much, 10%, 25%. There's been different estimates. Things like avocados from Mexico, lumber for housing, or even iPhones from China. Those price tags are climbing, and Black communities, often with less savings, will feel it the most. Yeah, we feel it the most if there's tariffs, and if the cost of the tariffs is passed on to us, the consumers, we can choose to buy those goods or buy American. We don't have to buy those goods. We could buy American goods. There are goods that are made in America that we could buy. We do not necessarily have to buy the Chinese product that's going to have a tariff. It's possible. Trump says tariffs will bring jobs back to America. That's the goal. Will it be successful? We don't know. That's got to be important to Americans. It sounds good. Black Americans, black workers have been historically high or disproportionately in the manufacturing jobs. We used to be. Okay, so it says here about 12% of the workforce, despite being 13% of the population. So we were more represented. I mean, for instance, guys, black American men only make up like 2% of lawyers. Every time you cut on a movie, you see a black lawyer. Every time you cut on a movie, it's a black woman lawyer or black male lawyer in one of these movies. But when you go to the law firms across the country, that's not the case. We're like 2 to 4% of those law firms. But when it comes to manufacturing jobs, we were like 14% of the manufacturing positions. So when those jobs left Michigan, when they left Pennsylvania, when they left these areas, we were hurt by that. No one talks about that. They want to talk about the culture and rap music. You're not talking about the damn jobs, though. Talk about the jobs. But it's so much easier because at the end, you can blame us for the rap music. Who you going to blame about the jobs leaving? You really think people want to do illegal work, illegal activities? People don't want regular jobs that pay well, they can raise their families. You don't think people wouldn't choose different things? I'm not saying, look, I'm just saying, we have people that seem either stuck on stupid or their brain, something's broke, or even they're just that bent on painting black people in a negative way. So all I'm saying is this is the goal. Will Trump be successful through tariffs and bringing manufacturing back? It's an incentive. And they say, now I don't know if we can believe it or not, but it's been said that a number of countries have already reached out and said, hey, we could come to an agreement. We'll set up manufacturing within your country. It makes sense. We'll build a plant there. Instead of, since you want to put a tariff on us putting the goods there, we want to sell our goods there. We'll move our manufacturing to your country. We'll hire Americans. That way we don't get tariffed. That's not the ultimate, I wouldn't say that's the ultimate win, right? But that's a better win than us just being consumers of their products. At least now, when Americans work at those shops or those manufacturers within America, we create more capital here in America that can circulate amongst Americans, even if we still buy those products. At least now we're generating an income. We have American workers generating an income from the people that we're buying the products from. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm saying that's more of a strategy than to continue. And I'm pissed that I don't have like a Bernie Sanders coming out now and saying the exact same thing he said in 2015, which was this. So I'm really ticked because I remember back in 2015 listening to Bernie say the exact same things about this is what needed to happen. And now we're silent because it's Trump doing it. Shit. Now we're silent because it's Trump doing it, not Obama or not Biden. You know what I'm saying? And that's disgusting. And that's disgusting, guys, because Our lives don't revolve around Democrats and Republicans. Our lives keep going regardless of who's in office. And if the only time you could have a critique of the country, the only time you have a vision of the country is dependent on who's in the office, who's occupying the White House, well, that shows me that you're really not there for the people. You're only there to play blue shirt versus red shirt. And Black Americans and white Americans and all Americans, for Black Americans, we need a shirt on our backs, regardless of who the president is and what color their shirt is. So it becomes more obvious that these people have been selling us up the river. Well, at some point, they decided they're not going to call it straight anymore. So that's why when I hear AOC and Bernie Sanders go on these tours, the in the oligarchy tour, it could have just been in the corporate reign of Democrats. Because what Trump's talking about doing, aside from the rhetoric that gets crazy sometimes, aside from any weird stuff that J.D. Vance wrote in his book, he's right about this. He's right that we got to stop just being consumers of other countries' products, making those countries far more wealthy. But I don't know if it's going to work, though. I can tell you the plan seems like it has merit. But for Black America, if all I can see is an upside. If they bring the manufacturing back to America and we can somehow get the jobs, we got to get the jobs. But see, thanks to Biden, we're now not only competing against white guys that are sitting here, that are here, we got to now compete against all the migrants Biden just let in the country, who will take those same jobs for less money. And for some reason, all of my Democratic progressive friends don't want to talk about it. And I get it. Their concern and their priority is not Black America. Their priority is everybody. People that got here a week ago. People that aren't even here legally. They see those people as equally, is equally able to get those jobs as us. And I say no. If you're going to have a group of people that have been disenfranchised in this country by this government, no. It's so bad. They're not going to give us reparations, and you're going to allow your party to outsource or to insource 10 to 20 million new people and make us compete against them for jobs. 2. And then when I say something, you're going to say, oh, Tim Black, you've changed. It sounds to me like you're saying, Tim Black, you finally woke up. So small business and entrepreneurs, how does this affect us? Black-owned small businesses. Small businesses, we operate on thin margins, but no more Black American small business operate on the thinnest of the margins. All small businesses do, but particularly ours. A Black entrepreneur running a clothing boutique, tariffs on textiles from places like Lesotho, now at 50%, or China mean higher wholesale costs. We either got to raise their prices, risking customers, or eat the loss, which threatens the survival. Black businesses employ about 1.3 million people. That's per the census. So this could be bad for us. That's why we need this over as soon as possible. We need America and China to come to a new agreement that benefits us. I do not believe that Trump wants the tariff war to stay in place. I believe he wants to negotiate. And you can't negotiate if you won't make the person think you're serious. China has to know we're serious. This is the same logic that I use with us not being Democrats and giving our vote to them automatically without negotiation. Same thing applies here. Trump's doing exactly with China and with Britain and all the other countries, the same thing I'm saying we need to do with the Democrats, which is not automatically give them what they want, but have a negotiation process. It will not be good for us in this situation to have the tariffs continue forever. But if it brings China to the table, if it brings these other countries, the EU to the table, if it brings any of the people that we've sanctioned to the table, and we can cut a deal, we can only benefit from that deal. They won't say that. When I say they, corporate media won't tell you that if we can cut a deal, that would make things better for America, which would make things better for Black America, in all of America. Okay? No one's talking about that because they're still in campaign mode for whatever crazy reason. So Trump's tariffs to stop drugs and immigration issues that resonate in Black communities, especially those hit by the opioid crisis. Economists warn that the trade war could slow U.S. growth. Jobs report for March came out strong. We don't know what the jobs report for April will be, but March was great. Much higher than they expected. But slow growth means fewer opportunities in Black Americans. As we all know, last hired, first fired. That hits us the hardest. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is we want to get in and out. If we're going to have a tariff war, we want it to be short as possible, unlike Ukraine. You want it short and quick. Get them in, negotiate, come to some type of agreement and end it. We don't want this prolonged. In any type of negotiation that's done, remember, America has the biggest consumer economy on the globe. Everybody wants to sell stuff to us. So we have a lot of leverage. But we also have a lot of crybabies. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of new media that want to create this into boogeyman wants to destroy the country instead of looking at Democrats and Republicans as being on the same team. I think Cat Williams said it best. Good guy and bad guy should not be Democrat versus Republican. It should be us versus them. And whoever them is, I don't know. But it should not be us versus ourselves. And it should be good versus evil, is what Cat Williams said. Not Democrats versus Republicans. Of course, he said it more eloquently, but that's what he said. So what can we do? What's the call to action, Tim? I don't know. We stay informed. We don't allow looking at CBS News to put us in a doomful mind state, like all is lost. And we don't listen to MSNBC tell us how Trump's trying to sell the country away from us. It wants us all to be living on the streets. And we don't listen much to Jasmine Crockett sell us fear, even if it comes in a AAVE vernacular. We talk to local leaders about protecting Black jobs and businesses. Trump's tariffs may aim to put Black America first, but we'll see, because America first ain't always Black America first. We're going to have to fight for that. And the question is, at what cost? Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep our communities fortified and be resilient. We're going to have to be resilient throughout this. I tend to look at it positively and just say, the way things are going now has not been beneficial to Black America. If there is a win to be gotten out of this, it will improve. It could potentially improve where we're sitting right now. And I'm all for that because we need it. And those people that don't want things to change must be doing okay. And that's not us. All right. So that's my take on the Black America point. Let me know what you guys think about this segment. I hope it was beneficial, made some sense. Hit the like button if it does make sense. We're trying to let the algorithm know that we have a good show. And it's a show that should get more people aware, or more people should be aware of the show that we do. What else we got, Johnson? Yeah, let's go with this. Okay, we'll go with this. They're talking about, CNN, they were having a conversation about deportations, I think it is. No, this is about, we were lied to about Trump's far-right friends. I don't know what this is exactly, but it's CNN and Abby Phillip. It's usually a good conversation.
Moment in 2015, 2016 for Donald Trump and the Republican Party to say, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, white nationalists, anti-Semites, quacks and conspiracy theorists, you're not welcome in my movement. I don't want to be associated with you. He didn't. He said, come one, come all. If you like me, that's enough cost of entry. That gets you into the party. And then conservatism and the Republican Party sort of swallowed these people up and morphed into this MAGA movement. And that part is so bothersome to me, more than he fired some people at the recommendation. It's that Laura Loomer associates herself with conservatism and the Republican Party. That is so awful.
And Trump calls her a great patriot.
Yes, and that is associated with the movement that I found so empowering, that I joined it at 18. Well, that's the part that bothers me.
It's been codified. It's been culturally codified at this point. I mean, you have someone talking to the president, not just chumming around, not just had a dinner, but going to the White House and delivering advice to the president that he then acts on, who is an avowed white nationalist. Terrifying. Terrifying to the point that I thought he had to be flooding the zone, that this had to be something that he was doing to take our minds and the talking points away from the tariffs and the bad week that he had, and it had to be some sort of stunt. But the more that I think about it, it doesn't matter whether it is or whether it's not. This is the worst fear of a lot of people who, just to be honest with you, were gaslit and told that there was no connection between Donald Trump and white nationalism, that there was no connection between Donald Trump and these far-right people that you're talking about right now. And we were lied to. They're in the White House, they're talking to the president, and he's listening.
There's nothing off limits anymore.
Nothing.
And toward the end of the first Trump term, it was the Sidney Powells of the world and the Rudy Giulianis. They were scaring even the most dyed-in-the-wool Trump people because of how loony they were in that time. And now it seems nobody is saying anything at all.
I hear this, and I don't know, Johnson. I just think that I think it's always been present. I don't know if Laura Loomer is a white nationalist. They say she said she is. I don't know what that is. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. They say that Steve Bannon's a white nationalist. I just don't think this is anything new for Black America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can anyone with a straight face really say, who follows politics, really say we haven't been dealing with this all this time? I mean, what is really different? I know you say it's different. I know you say Bush was different or Reagan was different or something, but how do I really know that? Like, how do I really know what people really thought, what their actual personas were? Like what they really believe in. Some of you say that Biden's a great guy. And I'm like, I have no evidence of that. He seemed like a white nationalist if you want to keep it a buck. I mean, he effectively locked up more black people than slavery with his laws that he had his hands on. Then he bragged about doing it. And you still talk like he's a great guy. Dude just got old, and unfortunately. So when I hear this hand wringing, I really don't think black people have time for this. And I like to tell Black America that of my people that are Black Americans, or white America, I should say. I like to tell white Americans, man, I'm not tripping off any of this shit. I'm not tripping off any of these labels and none of it, because I assume that the government that I've been interacting with, that my ancestors have interacted with in this country, is of a white America first type government. That's the way it's always been. So I'm not even tripping off with Abby Phillip and what Van Lathan are tripping off of, because I ain't expecting anything less. All I'm trying to do is make sure we get off the bottom of the country we built for free against our will. That's all I'm trying to do. And whether people's personal backgrounds of Laura Loomer, whoever she is, or whatever these people are on, whatever, what is the policy? And what can we do to put Black Americans in a better position? That's all I'm on. If these people feel bad, they feel trepidation, if they're afraid because Trump's talking to people, yeah, I wonder who JFK talked to. You know, I wonder who Bush talked to. I have no idea, but I got a feeling that Laura Loomer didn't write the book, start the book. None of these people that Trump knows invented this shit and have perfected it. That it's been here a long time, and yeah. If you tell me that Biden isn't one, well, then you explain what he's been doing. And if he isn't one, a white supremacist or bigot or racist, whatever you're talking about, he sure did the best impersonation. He's Ari Spears level impersonation of white supremacists, because his deeds, the achievement of his goals, of his policies, woo, he sure seemed like one. So mystery with the hand wringing and the pearl clutching, the flower bringing and slow singing, because, yeah, some of us weren't born last night. Next, I think I got one more clip where Van Lathan sounds like he's 24 and talking about America that doesn't exist. Like, we've seen America before. What's up with him and Abby? It's like they just came out their mother's womb. I got a video right now that's doing pretty good numbers. It's about Obama and how Obama feels so slighted by the fact he thinks that Trump has gotten a free ride. For some reason, Obama forgot that, his administration and Biden's administration tried to get, Trump sent to jail a couple times. For some reason, like, that went over Obama's head. He's up here complaining how America treats Trump so like Trump can do whatever he wants, and poor Obama couldn't do anything. So that's that video. It's doing pretty well. Here goes CNN and the crew talking about Obama and the White House and Biden.
Books. First of all, seeing that video of Kamala Harris and then these videos of Tim Walz the last few days, man, did we dodge a bullet. Lord have mercy. These books coming out.
Walking into the fire right now,
These books coming out. It can all be told now. I mean, I sat here all during the campaign and was assured Joe Biden was fine. Kamala Harris had the most organic, grassroots-driven campaign. The Democrats were unified. We had a campaign of joy, and everything was hunky-dory. That's what I was told night after night. First of all, seeing that video of Kamala Harris and then these videos of Tim Walz the last few days, man, did we dodge a bullet. Lord have mercy. These books coming out.
Walking into the fire right now,
These books coming out. It can all be told now. I mean, I sat here all during the campaign and was assured Joe Biden was fine. Kamala Harris had the most organic, grassroots-driven campaign. The Democrats were unified. We had a campaign of joy, and everything was hunky-dory. That's what I was told night after night after night. Mm-hmm. And now all the books are coming out, and it's amazing because a lot of the people who were telling those lies are now going to get paid to write those books.
I think a lot of people,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that betrayal, being lied to their face about Biden's health, about the strength of the party.
Our own government from the White House podium lied to us about his condition and covered it up. And even Ron Klain, the former chief of staff, is now saying things that are crazy when you read them.
The lying is wrong, right, Scott?
Right. I'm going to hold you to that.
I agree that we lived through the biggest scandal in modern American politics. John Avlon, yes.
All right. I got to leave it there, guys.
Yeah, people lied. And that's what's crazy. We got people that We got people that act as if they are pure as the driven snow. You know what I'm saying? Like they're the ones that want to point out how everybody else is a liar and bad people and they don't get it. And these people, have the uncanny ability to understand and to see and use terms like birthing mother and never offend and know all the proper pronouns to use. And they say all the right things and they know the intersectionality and yada, the bang, bang, boom. But for some reason, those are the same people that didn't realize that Joe Biden, his beard was flat, that the elevator didn't work, that the door won't shut, the dog don't hunt, the microwave won't cut on. Like none of them knew that, that the pedal won't touch, that engine won't turn over, that the light was blown, the pilot was out. None of them could tell these things. None of them. Not a single one of them. That Corinne Jean-Pierre, who went up and got up every day and lied about the condition of the president, now gets to go on The View and act like she was surprised. No one knew anything. That Kamala could come out after hiding for the last 3 months and have the audacity to show her flat backside and say, I told you so, about how bad Trump is. Meanwhile, you didn't tell us so about how bad Biden was. Cat got thy tongueth. So it's hypocritical as hell. The people that love to preach and point down and talk down and cancel everyone, it's the same party of a hypocritical scheme, the most devious scheme. Folks, do you realize if there's still in America 50 years from now, and I hope there is, and I'll say that, I hope there is. We got a lot of people that are hoping that there isn't. We got a lot of people on TikTok. I don't know where these people come from. We got black people with no country to go back to, hoping America destroys itself. As if they're all going to go live in Algeria. You've got plans to leave? I don't. These people will not admit that we had a bunch of liars in the Democrats and that they lied through their teeth about what kind of country it was. Folks, 50 years from now, they're going to be talking about 100 years from now. They're going to talk about the presidency of Joe Biden and how he was a demented man who was totally incapacitated and a country was run by people that weren't elected for 4 years and that everybody knew about it except for voters. And that party was the Democratic Party, the party of telling you how bad other people are, telling you Trump is Hitler, and all these people are deplorable. You know the real deplorables? And look, I'm not even going to say those people aren't deplorable to a certain extent. I don't know them all. So I'm not vouching for everyone. But I'll say this. I can tell you specifically, a deplorable action would be lying and gaslighting America into believing that Joe Biden was cognitively aware, that he was not impaired, that he was fit as can be, never sharper as a tack for the last 4 years. He ain't been that. Not at all. So I just find it very revealing when we were saying these things and people were calling us Trumpers. They were calling me a Trumper for saying that Biden was like, I don't know, he was a 12-pack of wings, no flats. Like all drumsticks, no flats. And we like flats. And then I could tell that something was off, that the milk was off. All you had to do is you open the nut, and then you could smell it. And they were like, no, you must like Trump. And I'm like, nah, the dude, something's not working. So anyway, it is what it is. I think the last one, guys, I got one more clip, I think. Is this it? We'll take a shot with it. I don't know what it is. Bill Maher and Chris Cuomo had a conversation. And I don't know which one this is. I got two. Let's go with one. Go with the first one. They're talking. He's on his Bill Maher.
I did his first character on Joe the Cop.
Yeah.
And they make a
I did his first
character on Joe the Cop.
Yeah.
And they make 1,000 jokes about it.
But he's a comic.
But it just shows you that, you can joke about these things without
I'm fine with it. But when you cancel one person, because it's a black woman who's doing it, they're not going to cancel her.
Totally.
Oh, they're talking about Jasmine Crockett, and they were saying if Jasmine Crockett was a white woman or Jasmine Crockett was a guy, a white guy, or maybe a black guy too, but they're saying because she's a black woman, she was able to say what she wanted to say about Gregory Abbott, and that's the reason why. Listen to what Bill Maher says. It's very interesting.
You cancel one person, but because it's a black woman who's doing it, they're not going to cancel her.
Totally.
That's the problem.
You're right. She wears the magic armor. She wears a magic armor. So
they're saying black is a magic armor, Johnson. That Jasmine Crockett wears a magic armor. Somebody tell Anita Hill because it didn't work well for her. I didn't see it work, but they're saying that Jasmine Crockett has magic armor.
she can do that. Yes, you're right. And both parties do that. Like when you're in our side, like if I made a fat joke about anybody in the world, how dare you from the left? If you make it about Trump or Chris Christie, it's just hysterical.
That's right.
That's what we got to get past.
I know.
That's those independent, what did you call them? Independent and
critical thinkers.
Critical thinkers.
You know, like I tell people, I don't want the lemmings. I want the lions. You know, you can have the lemmings. You got 45% of the country are happy to follow. Sheeple.
Oh, way more than that.
No, I think they just stay on the sidelines. I think they watch what's going on and they're like, these people are fucked up. Let me just stick to my regular life. Politics doesn't affect me anyway. I'm not going to let this toxify my brain space.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. How do you guys feel about that? I don't know. You think Jasmine Crockett she was able to get away with so many things because she's a black woman, or would anybody be able to roast? I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene says some stuff. She's a white woman. I mean, she said a lot of stuff. So did Lauren Boebert. They all said stuff. They're okay. I mean, everybody's able to, I don't know, man. I think it's the reason why I got a problem with Jasmine Crockett is she weaponizes black people and she paints it like she's fighting for black people, but she's fighting for the Democrats. And I keep trying to say that's a separate thing. You know, I never feel like Marjorie Taylor Greene's fighting for all white people. She's fighting for the Republicans. And everybody gets that. And there'll be white Democrats that call out Marjorie Taylor Greene. White women and men who can't stand her. But it's like, just because Jasmine Crockett, because she raps, she not only looks black, she raps herself like she's in this blackness, like I'm fighting for black people. And she does the opposite. That ain't fighting for Joe Biden. If I had a father, I wish he was just like Joe Biden. That is the most, who listened to that? It wasn't like, look at this disturbing, horrible thing to say, that you wish your black father was like Joe Biden. And I was like one of the only, I didn't hear anybody else say it. I was like, man, that's when I was like, oh, that's it. Man, cancel Christmas on this one. I mean, come on, man. But I don't think Bill Maher and Cuomo, I don't know. I think a lot of people go too far. I mean, Kathy Griffin did a mock decapitation of Trump. It took that. And she's still back with another career. I mean, she's still doing stuff now. She had to take a hiatus for 5 years, but she's back. So I don't know, man. She has done everything else. I mean, there are people, The View roasts the hell out of Trump every day, and it's, so I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it's black girl magic to save Jasmine Crockett, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is just as disagreeable the other way. They say more. Let's hear the other thing they say. There's one other clip between those two.
I did his first character on Joe the cop.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Not that one. Let's try the other one. Of course, I would get the wrong one. Let's see. How about this one? Shit, is this it? They look almost identical. It's hard to tell, man.
A couple of times when, look, I've been his biggest critic for good reason. And when he got reelected, I said, I'm not going to pre-hate anything. And then the first week I said, well, there's lots of things I hate because I do. Okay, there's some things I don't hate also, but the way he can do that and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I got to give it up. Like when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. I was like, oh, can we just play the music now? Because I don't care. It's Donald Trump and he's the worst person ever, blah, blah, blah. I fucking love that. Mm-hmm. One time they were doing something was going on with, and he said, you know what? When you come after New York, you got to go through me. It's like, oh, hometown boy. He has those moments that no other politician has. And the Democrats have to find that guy.
They need a message, and then you find you find the messenger. No, but that's how it worked for Trump.
That's the worst thing. The Democrats always say, message, message. Yeah, first of all, they did, and they don't like it. Second of all, they don't give a shit. It's not about the message. Trump changes his message from day to day. Tariffs everywhere. Tariffs nowhere.
Those are policy
it doesn't
decisions.
Matter. But they don't care about policy. They don't understand it. His message is, I'm me, I'm strong, and I'm daddy. They're on this daddy thing, and people want a daddy. Tucker Carlson, that whole thing, you've heard that thing about daddy came home and you need a spanking. I'm like, this is getting a little weird, Mrs. Robinson. Daddy, but you know what? That's what works, and that's what people respond to. They don't know the issues. They don't know the facts. And they have no interest in learning about them. They're like an animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha.
You think that's what it is? You think that people think that Trump's an alpha and that makes them want to rock with him? That makes some people want to side with his politics? They prefer that over Joe Biden or Kamala? I don't know. I guess I will admit with Obama, it was more than just policy. I mean, how many people really know about his policy? I know he talked about some things, but was the policy really it? Or was it the show? I think the show had a lot to do with Obama becoming president. And I think what Trump has been the show, but also the Democrats have just been horrible. I don't know, guys. You got to let me know. Let me know what you think. I think the Democrats have been so bad. They really helped Trump because, I don't know. But Trump is like a stand-up comedian, isn't he? Isn't he like sometimes he's like talking for like an hour and a half straight, just griffing. It makes me proud. When I do that, Trump does it in front of 20,000 people. Not knowing if one of them's going to take a shot at him either. Listen to this. They're about to take a shot at Tim Walz.
And Democrats have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not the other Tim who ran.
Kaine?
Tim Kaine. These are not alphas. It's like this thing of like, let's get a woman and then a docile man who's in every commercial where he's the asshole while mom takes care of business. That's not a message that makes the tribe go, who is strong? Who's strong? Who's strong? Tim Walz. No. Org, give me rock. I need to kill myself because Tim Walz. That you gotta appeal to people at a sort of post-civilization stage where we're kind of at on a primal level. You just do. And Trump does it better than anybody.
Trump does.
Yeah, Tim Walz, man. I don't know why people, I don't know, man. There are people that I saw that they were like progressives that liked him. I always thought he was creepy as hell. I didn't see the real affinity, the way people talked about. It's like, guy seems like somebody you don't want to leave the kids around, and it seemed inauthentic, like he was playing a role, like it's a character. And I'm a goofball. It's not a characteristic of a president or a vice president. Nobody wants somebody. I mean, the guy said, "Hey, I'm a goofball." That's not the guy. That's not the guy. That's the guy that, the neighbor that borrows stuff and forgets to bring it back. Then you're like, "Hey, I thought you were gonna bring back over my hair clippers, Bill." It's like, "Oh man, I'm a goofball. I forgot, man. Here they go. I'll go get him and bring him right over." That's that guy. That's that guy deciding if you push the button on Iran or Iraq. You know what I'm saying? That's not the guy. Nah, that's not the guy. It's not. So, yeah, America. Yeah, and I'm not going to say Trump isn't playing a role, but if you're going to play a role, you got to be a role that people want to follow. It's like he's stuck in nice guy, try to be nice guy. Then he tries to take hits at people like he's roasting someone. Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me as far as a politician. I'm not interested in him, what's his name? What's the comedian that always talks about food, but then he lost a lot of weight? Funny guy, man. That's Sam Kinison. Not here. The one that's out now. The guy do the Hot Pockets. What's the guy's name? Jim Gaffigan. Yeah, I like Jim Gaffigan's, right? I think he's got a shtick thing. It's funny. It's interesting. It seems like a nice guy, but damn it, I don't want Jim Gaffigan leading anything. Like he's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? And to me, Tim Walz is Jim Gaffigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? These things matter when it comes to leadership. And I don't sense any of that in Tim Walz. And that's the reason why, look, the fact that Tim Walz was chosen by Kamala Harris says everything we need to say. I don't need to say anything else. It's coming out now that the reason why they chose Tim Walz as her vice president is because they were afraid that anybody else would overshadow her. And that's the last thing she needed. So she didn't want even a double woman ticket with Governor Gretchen Whitmer, because she was going to overshadow. They couldn't get Josh Shapiro because Shapiro would have overshadowed her. Same thing with Newsome. Newsome would have overshadowed her, though. The whole time, you would have been like, well, he should be at the top of the ticket instead of her. He's got jazz hands, and, we have to, and the thing is, you gotta, go through the thing, and we want to, and so the reason why you know who Tim Walz is, if you're not from Minnesota and you know who Tim Walz is, it's because He is a knucklehead. And that's why he was chosen to be her running mate. And it all came out. And it's going to keep coming out. So part of Trump's success is the failure of the Democratic Party. And Obama knows that more than anybody else, but still being who he is, which is not the most courageous man that ever walked the earth, not the most honest person who won't admit it, but it all came out. It's in books now. He didn't want Kamala, he didn't support her. That's why he waited 5 days. He didn't want to endorse her. And she begged Biden to endorse her. Because if you remember, Biden did not. When he dropped out, it was silence for a while. Then he came back, I think, the next day and endorsed Kamala. He wasn't going to. And he did it only as a middle finger to Pelosi and Obama, who wanted him to drop out earlier and have a broken convention. That was the plan. And then that way, Democratic nominee would have been whoever duked it out and won, who was chosen by the people. And you can't tell me it would have been any worse because Trump resoundingly beat Kamala. So anyway, there it is. All right, guys, that's all I got. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this segment. Hit the like button. Let the algorithm know that the Tim Black Show is doing its business. Where are my people at? Where are the folks? Elizabeth Looney came through with a sticker. Thank you, Elizabeth, as always. Kirk, I always end up falling asleep when I catch you live. I appreciate your take on Carmelo Anthony the other day, and you'll have more truth-telling tonight. Catch you on the replay. Hashtag replay game. Kirk, what's up, man? Black Mamba in the house. Hornbuckle says story from 2020 of a Black American young man found dead shot in the back of the head, close range. Mom got a text for $7,000 ransom. $7,000 for your baby. And got a post sent to her with his face exposed, dead under sheets and quilts. Police officer, sons and friends questioned but cleared. I don't know, man. What about the two young Black American twins? If it happened in urban London, England, it would just be another knife crime. That white kid in Texas played FAFO and lost. Ibn Sabil. What about the young brother? Peace be upon him. The whole town plotted against that young brother. Death rolled up in a mat in the gym. Kid him, no justice till this day. You're right. Was it Kendrick? Let me not guess. I remember the story. I covered it. Ibn Sabil says, Tim, thank you so much for giving us a level-headed, rational, objective view on social political issues. Man, thank you, Ibn Sabil. Thank you for saying so. Real talk, because sometimes, and I got no problem going alone, but it's good to know I got my people with me. You know what I'm saying? That I have my own people that have my back, because, you know, like I said, I got no problem being the only guy saying it. And I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be my own person, but it's good to know I got people with me. That's good to know. Yeah. Elizabeth Looney came back again. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, folks, that is it, man. What a Sunday night, man. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I appreciate y'all for supporting the Tim Black Show. Remember, go get your Tim Black mug at timblackmug.com. It's politics for the people. My legacy mug available while supplies last. Mine is in the dishwasher. I forgot to bring it back down. But you know what it is. It's a Tim Black Show. As if you don't see that by now. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it like always. Don't let anybody take your cornbread. Let's keep the cornbread in house. And yeah. Thank you, Buck. I hope you're okay, Buck. Brother. My brother. Let's see what's going on with Buck, guys. Salute all. Black Mamba, much love. Thank you, Black Rose, Black Mamba, Wagi, Phillip, Lawrence Jones, the whole crew. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I thank you. Hit the like button, Anita. Matthew, what's up, man? Yeah, when I saw Tim Walz fumbling around with his shotgun, I immediately thought of Elmer Fudd. It cannot be unseen. Yeah, I saw it too, brother. Why would you pretend to be the gun guy if you're not the gun guy? It did more damage than good. You know, just no. Inauthenticity kills you more than anything else. All right, folks, remember. Oh, I already did it. About the thing? Yeah. You never change anybody's mind. I had to learn this a long time ago, that you never change anyone's mind. Just because they say what you want them to say doesn't mean they agree. It doesn't mean they had a change. You never change a man's will. You just can't. A man's mind changed against his will is of the same opinion still. Yeah, that's it. A man's will changed against his will is of the same opinion still. Yeah, he still feels the way he feels. My thing is, when you're trying to change someone's mind, you get into an argument, just realize that's for you. Because you want to hear them, you want them to be moved to your position. But I'm changing minds, and I may never hear about it. And that's how it should be. You never know, you know? It's like it may take the person you're trying to convince to hear the same thing 3 different ways from 4 different people before they really say, you know what? Now I remember what that person told me. Now it makes sense. And that's how people work. And that's more real than people just showing up one day and they meet you and you're able to sweep them off their feet and change their whole identity or change their whole perspective. So I realize, man, that people watch the show and they hear me talk about stuff, and I'm trying to do my best to communicate an idea. It may take years. And I might not even be the recipient. I might not even be here when you see the light, but that ain't my job to see it, you know? My job's to do the job. I know, that's it. All right now, hey, where are my ladies at? Where are my ladies? There they go.